piece, right? I mean, I think that's exactly why I really like when people get involved. The other day I was watching Eddie Murphy's stand-up. It's the one from the 80s. I think it's called Delirious. And there's a point in the show where he takes a camera from an audience member. It's like a little sort of shitty point and shoot, and he points it at the audience and he takes a few snaps.
I'll take a picture of the crowd for myself. Can all y'all come over here on this side? No? I take two of them.
And then, he cracks a few jokes, he gives back the camera to the guy, and then he moves on with the show. But as I'm watching it, I'm so focused on what those images are and where are they. And so I think, what happened to the guy that owned the camera? Did he ever manage to develop the pictures? Did he ever manage to, post them somewhere? Maybe someone knows about it. Maybe some tabloid posted as sort of promotional materials, where they do a thing where they, it says something like, never seen before, pictures of Eddie Murphy in his famous red leather jacket. And so I go online and I actually do find a few Reddit posts where people are trying to figure out if these images exist or not. And there's a bunch of people talking about how they definitely never got developed. There was a few people sort of saying how even if they did get developed, it wouldn't really matter because the pictures would have been horrible in the first place. And then finally I stumble upon this post where this guy essentially claims that the whole show was completely fabricated by Ronald Reagan. And he's, in the theory, he sort of says how Reagan doubted the legitimacy of, evidence that was provided to him by intelligence services, like MI5 and CIA, about the nuclear weapons that the Soviet Union sort of held at the time. And he essentially called his mate, Grant Tinker, who was the head of NBC at the time, and managed to convince him to organize the whole special. So they hired production crew, they built a set, they hired thousands of extras to fill out the audience. And it was meant to be so precise that Eddie himself was completely unaware of the fact that it was fake. And so then it goes on, they air, it becomes very successful and they get critical acclaim. And Reagan allegedly, presents this as the ultimate proof to his advisors that the Soviet Union, in fact, did not have a nuclear arsenal they claimed they had. And it allowed him to authorize the Star Wars program, which was the thing that rendered the American nuclear arsenal totally obsolete. As ridiculous as that is, I think, okay, that post was written years ago, and this was even before we had LLMs write most of what we have, so whether it was a human or a bot doesn't really matter. If asking the internet for something doesn't work, then I'm going to try the Cunningham's Law, and I'm going to post something that's so not true that the internet can kick off and prove me wrong. So I do a bit of research, I find out that the images were taken on a Kodak 110 Instamatic camera. I do a bunch of prompts, I generate some images to look like that, and I add a little watermark in the corner so I can kind of track the image. I upload it online and I see what happens. And then within 1 hour of posting it, someone already reposted it, but the image is cropped. And then there is a title saying the famous pictures that Eddie Murphy took during his stand-up finally found. 2 hours later, it's on Twitter with 3,000 likes. So I quickly go back, I delete my original post, but it's already out. And, the image is sort of spreading. I then get a DM with someone asking me if I have any more pictures. And so I check who it is, and it's the same person that reposted my images. So I think, I faked that image. They knew it was a fake image. So I didn't like that. So I decided, okay, I'm just going to do some more research. And then I finally find this post that has the exact title I want, but then it just turns out to be a transcript of a fictional sort of video dating monologue. But then I get another message from that guy on Reddit, and he sends me another message saying, you know, oh, can I have your phone number? So I'm like, no, I'm not gonna give it to you. And then my phone suddenly rings. So I pick up the phone, and the voice on the other side tells me, you know, they demand anonymity, and then they just hang up. And then the phone rings again, and this time a different voice tells me that the first voice was imaginary, which is kind of helpful because imaginary witnesses stick to the script, and scripts are what keep, you know, this whole thing, you know, like this thing from dissolving. But I keep forgetting which voice I'm talking to. But it's okay because then I kind of look at the waveform of my own voice as I'm recording it, and it looks confident, and confidence is currently scoring really well with audiences that are aged 18 to 34. So I figure, okay, this is, you know, we're on track. I see that someone comments on my post and says that I should go and check out this new repository on GitHub that's based on a white paper that talks about quantum emulators. So I go and check it out, and then it kind of can simulate scenarios based on the history that's kind of trapped inside of each and every atom. So I think, okay, maybe I can use that to see what those photos that Eddie took were. If I simulate kind of what happened from the conception of existence all the way to the Constitution Hall on October 15th, 1983. Because at this stage, I just kind of want to see the pictures and go to bed. But then it turns out that even if I successfully did simulate what happened, it apparently means that me investigating that particular moment in time already kind of changes the past. Because my act of observing that what was up until now unobserved in itself is an act of creation. So I can't trust those pictures that I'm seeing because I wasn't there when it happened. And the people that were there when it happened are just lying about it online. So, you know, and besides, at this stage, the pictures that I posted earlier, they've been reposted enough times for it to become canon. So I'm just seeing them everywhere. But there's some other stuff happening online too, and it sort of drags people's attention away. So I noticed that the likes on my pictures are not as high as they used to be. So then I think, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna keep on posting more pictures, you know, more of those photos that Eddie Murphy took that day. You know, at the end of the day, consistency is the one lie that audiences forgive. You know, so I hit or export, and the progress bar kind of bounces up and down, and you know, and that's fine because bits and bytes need to hesitate. It proves their thinking, and you know, and I wrote a note in my notebook that reads, "Once evidence is consulted, it forfeits innocence." Which is fine because, you know, innocence is sort of overrated these days, and I just wanted for anyone who ever goes online and wants to find out what happened to the pictures that Eddie Murphy took that day, they can just find it. So there is that.
Hey man, I said one fucking picture. You're using up all my fucking film, man. Come on, shit! Who the fuck do you think you are, man?
Let's see you explain the last one to the guys at Photomat.
That's a picture of Eddie Murphy's dick.